Hey everybody, Rachel here. I am a little sick, so if I sound nasally to you, I am. I'm getting better though, and I didn't want to stop recording my podcast, which was on my agenda today. I feel pretty good, but I'm just a little stuffy. So hopefully this won't be too distracting, and we're gonna get right into it. And if I sneeze, I will mute. Okay, so the topic today, our topic is why should I care or be more aware of how it would help me? Like, why should I care about emotional intelligence? Why should I care to be more aware? That's kind of what I mean. Why should I care to be more aware and why would it help me? And do you relate to that thought? Do I really need to do this? Do I really need to be more self-aware? Because I feel like this is something kind of the topic du jour is awareness, self-awareness. Mindfulness is a term now in our vernacular used all the time. And I'm wanting to share that this is a big deal to care about. And I'm going to go into why. But I think one of the reasons that I come up with resistance on this, and tell me what you think, is that no one told us to be more self-aware. I don't know about you, but my parents had no idea what self-awareness was, let alone emotional intelligence. I don't really think that's the words we would use. We would talk about self-awareness. And I want to share a couple things. And I think the real key, the bottom line is if you aren't, if you don't care about self-awareness, or if you're thinking like, I'm good, I'm fine. This is really interpreted as I don't matter. And this is from my coach, Bob Wright. I don't matter means I'm good. I don't matter enough to care about my self-awareness. And then just sit back and take that in for a moment, because that's a really big deal. You're literally dismissing yourself. You're writing yourself off that you don't matter. And I really want that to sink in, because I think we think that that's okay in some ways. Like, oh, that's fine. I'm too busy. I think I'm good. I don't need to worry about learning more. And the reality is, it's just an excuse. That's the great excuse that I think our ego uses to keep us the same and in our comfort zone, so we aren't feeling uncomfortable. So why you should care, the first response I have is, well, because you matter. And that might sound really esoteric, like who doesn't think they matter? But that's what's really going on the subconscious level. And I want to get a little more into it, but if just be in that inquiry a little bit. So, if I don't matter, then what is that all about? And there's some judgments around ourselves, right? There might be some limiting beliefs that you're not worth it. You don't matter, worth the time, the energy, the resources, you name it. And so it is. And I'm here to tell you that A, you do matter. And B, if you are able to develop your self-awareness to a level that is different than now, meaning whatever level will be deeper for you, you're doing yourself such a benefit, because you're inferring you matter already, because that's the effort you're taking. It's conscious effort. It's not anything on autopilot whatsoever. And you're putting a stake in the ground. You're literally flying that flag high to know you matter and that you're worth it. And this is an investment in yourself, even if it's just time, learning. You're listening to this podcast. That's time in itself, which is yours to give and to take and to receive. So always be learning, in my opinion. That's one thing to be thinking about. Maybe you take that on as your new mantra, always be learning. And our self-awareness is a foundation for everything else that we do from there, whether it's developing our emotional intelligence to be a better influencer, be a better leader, have more impact, and see things otherwise that already others can see about you. In other words, you can know your blind spots through others telling you that, or maybe a perception that you hadn't had before. Isn't that amazing? As a leader, that is priceless. If you actually knew what your blind spots were and developed them, then that's where you close the gaps and you soar as a leader. And I think the next question is, well, how do I do that, Rachel? What needs to happen? And I think the key is first, shifting that belief around I don't matter to I do matter. So knowing that that's a new empowering belief you could have. And bring your curiosity as well, because if you're wondering, being curious, that's the natural way to be thinking about yourself or maybe what is going on in and around you. Then you start to develop different perspectives, different ways of working. You can be more creative and you get out of that judgment zone, which is huge, huge. So let's take a moment. This is big stuff, right? When that all happens, and this is research-based, I'm going to cite a couple things from an article I read in Psychology Today about self-awareness. So when all of this happens, when we're being curious, we practice more self-control, we work more creatively, we're more objective and productive, and we also experience more pride in ourselves and in general, more self-esteem. That's from Sylvia O'Brien from 2004. And then it also leads to better decision-making. That's from Ridley Schultz, Glanz, and Weinstein, 1992, which is a big deal because then you close more deals, you build better trust with relationships, your rapport grows, and it leads to just all in all more fulfilling relationships and more success. If those things resonate with you, my guess is there's even more success for you to have from wherever you are today. And I think it goes back to knowing you matter. I mean, that's really what it is. This is the core belief that stems from how we go about everything, right? So if you are late to a meeting, we're going to have a little tangent here, but if you're late to a meeting, maybe that's a consistent habit for yourself. Who's late? There's a lot of things that can be late. I used to be late a lot. My mom loves to be late. Like there's just so many things. There's an inference there that the other person doesn't matter. And I'm letting that pause sink in because there might be some total excuses or resistance, but that's really what it is. So, if you were going to meet the King of England, would you be late? Well, they matter, so probably not, my guess is. So I'm just saying that because the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. And if you don't matter, it affects every area of your life. And we all have these mistaken or limiting beliefs that are unconscious. And so what do we do about it, right? Well, this is why it's so important to have support. No one can do it alone because you only know what you know. It's like fish in the fishbowl. We need to know our blind spots or maybe get pointed out to us what our unconscious limiting beliefs might be that are holding us up in life, that are keeping us from our dreams, from our goals, from living the life we could truly be living, making the money we want to make, etc. Are you feeling this one? I think this is a big topic, but I know a lot of people who don't invest in themselves because of cost, because it's not the right time. And to me, that's a level of knowing they don't matter, because if they did matter, they would know they're worth it. And I get it. It's not always the right time. I mean, you got to budget for things, but that's what I think is really resonant with me because I think a lot of times I've heard people say, I don't need to really read another self-help book. Well, books are one thing. Yeah, we can read all the books we want, but if we're not applying anything, nothing's going to change, right? Like, I think that's a little different. But they don't want coaching or they don't want to take a course. And maybe it's not all the time, but if it's something you really wanted to do and you were interested in it, you like the person, the coach, the leader, the curriculum, and if you're still not doing it, then there's a level of knowing, there's a level of, that self-awareness could be even more developed so that you're worth it and you make the call and you go for it. And again, this is all leading you to be a more productive, incredible, successful leader. More self-esteem, more genuine, better decision-making. I said these before, but I hope it's hitting home. And if this resonates with you, let me know because that's what I do. I help leaders be more self-aware through the tools we use in strategies in emotional intelligence. These are proven tools based in neuroscience, based in psychology, based in a bunch of different things that are studies, psychology, existentialism, educational theory, developmental theory, emotional intelligence. I mean, that's what I work with. So know that you are in the right place if this is resonating, and let me know. Like the podcast. You can schedule a call with me to discuss this. I would love to learn more and support you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.